Good morning, y'all. This is I'm wanting to tell you a story in the Bible that I just read, and I'm sorry that I'm speaking so low, but my son and my husband are still asleep. But anyways, this story is in Acts 5. Okay. So Jesus called us to give to the poor, okay, to help people in need. And so back in the day, there were people that had land and that they had houses and possessions and all that. So as more and more after Jesus died, Paul and Peter were preaching the gospel, and they were telling people, "Oh, go sell your stuff and go give it to the poor." But these people were, by the Holy Spirit and their belief in Jesus and in God, they were doing that on their own accord. So they were selling things, possession, lands. I mean, they were going without. They were selling things they had extra, and they were giving it to Paul and Peter to give out to the homeless. It was so good back then that at that time that there was no more people in need because everybody was given out to everybody. Anyways, so this man called Ananias comes to so he was married, right? His wife is Sapphira. I want to say Sapphira or Sapphira. And so they they both thought, okay, well, look at how, because when people were given, Paul and Peter were like, not praising them, but recognizing their good deeds. And so these people wanted to be exalted, this couple. So they had land, and they said, well, let's go sell because we want to be praised, like the rest. We want to be recognized, but we're not going to sell everything. We're going to keep a portion for us. We'll just tell them that we're giving them all of our money. So they went and they sold land, and they kept a portion, and they lied because when they went to Peter and to give them the money, so the husband went by himself first, and they said, here's the money that we acquired from our sales. And but they were lying. He was lying because he was telling Peter that it was all the money. He knew it wasn't. So Peter could discern, he could see the lie in this man. And let me read you what Peter said. Ananias, how is it that Satan has so filled your heart that you have lied to the Holy Spirit and have kept for yourself some of the money you received for the land? Sorry, cut off. It says, didn't it belong to you before it was sold? And after it was sold, wasn't the money at your disposition? What made you think of doing such a thing? You have not lied just to a human, but to God. So nobody told him to go sell anything. They did it on their own accord, okay? This husband and wife. They planned this, and they planned to lie to get recognition. That was the sin. When Ananias heard this, he fell down and died. And a great fear seized all who heard what had happened. Then some young men came forward, wrapped up his body, and carried it out and buried him. He lied. God knew what he was doing. God can see everything. So he thinks that God can't see what he's doing. I mean, this guy comes over and is lying, giving money, lying on purpose to get praised. Kind of like politics. And Peter, with his Holy Spirit that he had, he could see through this man, called him out and died on the spot, dropped dead. Okay, wow. About 3 hours later, his wife came in, not knowing what had happened. Peter asked her, "Tell me." Peter asked her, "Tell me, is this price you and Ananias got for the land? Like, is this money? Is this all the money you got?" She didn't know what had happened, right? And she goes, "Yeah." She said, "This is all the money." Peter said to her, "How could you conspire to test the Spirit of the Lord? Listen, the feet on the men who buried your husband, are at the door, and they will carry you also." At the moment she fell down, She fell down at his feet and died. The young man came in, finding her dead, carried her out, and buried her beside her husband. You guys, wow. Like, you can't mess with God. He, right there, dead. Everybody saw what happened. It says, great fear seized the whole church and all who heard about these events. And it's not like, oh, you're telling me that I have to give everything I have to the church. I have to give everything, be without. No, nobody told us these. This was all voluntary. Voluntarily, they came, they sold their stuff, and they went and lied to God, pretty much, and that was their sin.